嘿，欢迎大家回收看沃芬狮的游戏频道。我们今天晚上要回来玩极乐迪斯可啊。我们上次刚进到第一天结束之后的梦境，到处逛逛。那是被换成 disco 球了的意思吗？真的上面挂着 disco 球。话说他长得跟我一样呢。
Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? Do you remember the warmth of her thighs between her legs and in her mouth? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life? Oh no, funky baby. You stayed. It was the rest of it that left. While you just stood there, with one hand on the bottle, and the other on your dick, watching it go. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours? No, it's gone. 3 times gone, and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium. Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry. 4.6 billion people, and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up. No, you haven't. You're just sleep-talking, and the act is wearing thin, too. The spots on the disco ball fade around you. You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed. Stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown. Who are you kidding? You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too, so soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork, barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
什么工厂？那个球就挂在他的头上啊，所以当然是会有 disco 球的特效啊。
Good going, buddy. Oh, just a dream. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be. That's not really true. Your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you. It's power, man. It's professionalism. Of course, Martinez is speed. You and Speed will be happy.
哟，早点快速完吸一下。
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
之前说时间只有在跟人对话的时候才会推进是吗？现在33分。我不知道这是不是包含跟思想泡泡的对话、欸。哦，他们来了。然后我的手穿模了。
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union must have turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them. I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay? Everything points to the dock workers union, which may, of course. One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom right past. But aren't you curious to know what they have?
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I lived.
所以是4点之前他都会在，不是4点之后要来找他，应该是吧？我先存个档好了。 完全不知道这些思维的功效是什么。番茄切片薄到可以透光，哇！
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez.
Her entire character has shifted. This young woman is cold as ice.
No, I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? That's Titus. Talk to him, but know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming, nothing official. The District of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Could this be the Miss Buford that Easy Leo mentioned? The one Mr. Everett sent to law school?
I suggest not wasting time on trivial pleasantries.
Even though she has excellent control over herself, something moved behind her eyes, in the way she stands.
You are not here to chat up the legal counsel. You are here to question these men. What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. In Martinez, you are no one. Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems? Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just...
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder suspects. Just dock workers.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Get sober. Do your job. Ask your questions and get the hell out of Martinez.
This is where you say your bit.
Detective.
Hey, dipshit. You hard of hearing or something? The boss man's talking to you.
Do not let their squeals disturb your serenity. These are but simple peasants, sire.
What, is he fucking kidding? This guy high or something?
Hey, asshole, up here. We're talking to you.
We are looking for Titus Hardy.
Wow. Real big dick cops. Look at them. Reckless. Swinging in the wind.
Yeah, look at the big dick on that cop. Can't tell a dick that big what to do.
Must be something in the water in Jamrock.
Yeah, gave him real nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
You might want to start asking your questions.
Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're going to match. Starting from the right, boot size 44, blonde man, in his 30s, overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right, standard working boots, size 45 or 46, eldest in the room, probably mid-50s, smoker, quiet. Across at the other table, hobnailed working boots, size 43, gang tattoos, Mesk or Sarah Mauritian, in his late 30s, early 40s. He spent his youth in Villalobos, a housing project in the Jamrock quarter. There were incarcerations, hard to say what else. The ink is fading. And then, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 46, the big dick, wide at the shoulders and lean at the hips, rugby cap, fingerless gloves, and numerous scars, a little under 40. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it reads T. Hardy, Captain. In the far corner, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 44, 40-something, non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum? On his neck. Forget it. It's not important. Let's call this one the musician. Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy, boot size 46, deep probably carried the victim over. He alone is 130 kilos. Add the man in armor, and you could easily exceed 220. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy. Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything. Hit them with questions.
The fuck is with you, fella?
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy, there's 7 of us and we're all here. Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She? So there's an 8th Hardy and it's a Hardy girl? Who might it be? Elizabeth? The gardener?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here.
It has to be good if he won't let you pursue it. Looks like...
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. And you're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you...
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
I've got nothing to say to you. I am not.
You could be Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went to law school. I am an...
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International. The cold look in her eyes speaks louder than words. It's not her. She's not a Hardy girl. Definitely.
What are we going to do to you? The union isn't going to do anything to you. It is not a crime syndicate. It is a labor organization.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people.
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she keeps pulling at the frayed edge of her blanket.
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems?
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night. But they're still missing, and I haven't heard from them.
不会灾难了吧？
I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully. But you have more important...
More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something interesting.
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the waterlock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my... There's a nameless old fishing village nearby, but we've never had any trouble there before. There is a lot of crime around here, isn't there?
I can't say it's the best part of town, but I wouldn't worry too much about a pair of grown men traveling together.
Some fringe science is exactly what's needed right now. Spice up that vanilla murder investigation.
Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? I did suggest we play it cool, but... If you say so.
Oh, thank you, officers. Truly, I'll be right here if you come across... Oh, dear. I'm not sure where to begin. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his...
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her husband...
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame. And he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
戴眼镜 ，Wilder frame 意思不是应该说骨架大一点吗？
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case. We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my act. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
I hope I've been useful. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating, but I shouldn't...
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a phasmid.
Ah, yes, Phasmatodia. A diverse...
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. Hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll lend...
To be honest, this animal sounds like a cryptid. You wouldn't happen to be searching for some kind of gnome of Jeroma, would you?
I smell pseudoscience, he's thinking. Not a big fan of that.
It's simply elusive. So much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all.
Establishment. I thought so.
Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully? Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper.
about their encounter. Of course, most Phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insul Indian Phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at.
Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face. Her eyes sparkle behind her glasses.
I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the Insul Indian Phasmid. Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie. Yes, it can blend in almost. Oh dear. I'm afraid Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear it.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring.
Huh?西南边，在运河的另外一端。我其实不知道怎么去运河的另一端。墙上散布许多弹孔，应该是以前打仗的时候留下来的，就是治安不好的时候留下来。还真的有人在外面看书嘞。
Yes? Hello? Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read. It is. I know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
What with?
What with? A lot of things. For example, people tend to go missing.
My husband? No, he's not. I don't know.
Where is this going, officer?
Yes, but I don't really need to know where my husband is. Not all the time. No. Of course he's not. It's not like he's a pop.
It's got to be something else then. Why else would you be asking her if it wasn't?
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but...
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this point.
I don't even have a cockatoo.
It's a trap. Never ever say what.
Great. Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so...
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your
真小了
or your heraldic bird?
Wonderful. The store is open.
找到你的象征鸟嘞
The woman before you.
靠腰了一堆超强的支线呢
Hello again, esteemed. A book about cockatoos? There should be one upstairs.
Shelves full of biographies of a sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover. It turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems.
每个都有行为问题
You don't have behavioral problems. That's garbage. You're cool.
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
You wait for the storekeeper to be... It's quite a challenge.
看，
But eventually, the guide to the cockatoos is yours.
我们不止收会嗑药、乞讨、梦游，还偷窃，我靠，无恶不作哎，怎么会这样？
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminole Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues. This book talks about the delicate nature of twos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang bang cockatoo, powerfully illustrated.
碰碰杀手。
Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day.
每天都烹饪食物给
The
他。
full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels. Ouch, that must hurt. Not great for the neighbors. Performing, yes, birdie. This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it. Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. Despite its banging name, the bang-bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoles forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminoles name, Bang Bang, is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins.
鸟确实很偶像。
Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you?
超弹凤头鹦鹉。
You're right. You're Psittacus venereus embodied. This ominous bird belongs on your heraldry.
所以我到底，我过来发现我自己是哪一种鹦鹉，到底有什么用？一点用都没有啊！
Good morning to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man stranded on the other side of the waterlock and on an enormous billboard that has fallen down into the canal between them.
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Rivershoal. Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here, especially a waterlock. The rest of the coast is closed off till then.
我们要乞讨了。
Sure thing.
It is salty, it is savory, it is chewy.
Want some too, officer?
Why not?
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not much use to the congregation, though. There always seems to be something wrong with it. Yeah, not really much else.
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything. You pull the lever all the way up until nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
礼拜三才会修好。我怎么知道我现在是礼拜几了？周二，所以我是从周一开始。
Hello there.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful, measured. He wants you to know that
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
the light pole has been carefully cut and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price tag.
The light has been removed and rewired. That's 2 transformations.
The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
Okay, that checks out.
妈的，700块！等一下，这确定不是全游戏最贵的东西吗？太夸张了。
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive... Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man. The antlers on the hood of the man's cloak and his piercing blue eyes are familiar.
It's the man from Hendal.
walking away from his burning village. Yes. Huh? Oh, I see. That's tough, man.
我觉得那个幻想的野蛮人作品
Kendall isn't a real place.
Neither is the man a real man, of course.
Wow. What? Smells like worn cotton. Worn cotton with a side of fleet.
Sniffing is okay. But please don't try anything on. Can't have you leaving your 2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I sympathize, I do. But this is a for-profit enterprise.
乞讨
The
失败
boxes on the shelf. Look, one especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape. Absolutely. I've tested each one myself.
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
The stuff I record myself. Silverware shaking in drawers as motor cars race by. Nocturnal animals climbing on the roof. Airship rotors. That kind of thing.
Maybe you should ditch music as well. Get into these more experimental sounds he's describing.
Is the Harman Welsh W2. Made in Vespa. Designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad some.
What?我找不到真正酷的小雕像 ，fuck。好，来问一下当铺有没有找到我们的枪。
What can I do for you? I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processing. Some kind of drug, maybe. Okay.
Hey.
He definitely is high. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery.
连续2个高几率失败。
Bad.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dance.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
我自己当掉了。
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind. She didn't seem like a policeman.
猪猪女
Although she
侠
kept referring to herself, truth be told.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the Force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it right now. You'll just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday. They went their way.
Wait, then it might be true.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your guy.
People as oleaginous as Everard.
Of course. Let me have a look. Jean-Baptiste summer dinghy rates is 31. So, what do you want to know? Price? I can give you $320 for it. Sure thing. So, do you want to sell anything? Anything else you're thinking of selling?
有很多东西其实不知道是要干嘛用的。
I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.
疯狂捡回收，捡破烂。
There's a pile of cheap sunglasses in a small.
You like sunglasses, officer? I've got the latest style.
Stylish shades, huh? They'd be even more stylish if you paid for them with net worth. Go over and ask him. These are all boring. Those UV stickers are almost certainly just there for the show. If anything, these lenses probably direct more UV light into your pupils.
These are all first-rate sunglasses. Premium design, super material, very cool, UV resistant.
No luck.
Oh, that visor is perfect.
Hey, at least it might actually offer some protection against the sun. Not like those cheap plastic shades.
I hope not.
You don't like it? Sure, Square Joe. No problem. Let's get you some real shades.
You see two lowly, defeated speakers, thralls, slaves.
I can see you've a taste for luxury.
Speaking of luxury, you should go over and ask about paying for a pair of Faun Ultras. The design is impossibly sleek and simple. A few.
Those sneakers, mister. Those
Only that's Faun Ultra. Wear These once respectable speakers have been conquered, reduced to a mere prop by the indomitable Faun Ultras atop them. A small heat emboss on the veneer reads, Solidarity Aid from the People's Republic of Samara. The speakers themselves don't seem to display any.
No, don't look at the speakers, officer. Look at the sneakers. These, officer? These speakers are Samaran garbage. I'm ashamed to even use them for props. Don't waste your time on them.
Samaran trash. That sounds like they're from the Samaran People's Republic, produced under the dictatorship of the proletariat.
No way, officer! These aren't for sale. They're bad speakers. Low-fi socialist junk. Well, if you want them, but see, they are the pedestal for my sneakers. If, on the other hand, you wanted to buy the sneakers too, I could maybe throw...
Damn, so you have to buy the sneakers first. There are clothes inside.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes.
How about some premium class service over here? Save the economy. That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circulation. Don't buy new things. Buy eco. Look around, officer. You see all these premium goods just sitting there, not getting bought? We've got to keep the... Is this really the economy we want to leave to our children? I can't go extinct, officer. I've got kids to feed. Once an economy goes extinct, it messes up the whole ecosystem.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester blends that make your body itch and sweat in all the wrong places. The box smells like cat piss or like an old person with no money.
Economical, but also trendy. Look firsthand. Buy secondhand.
No good.
Hey.
All you can come up with are some treated.
我全部的
You can
高几率检定都失败耶。
And too loose around the waist. They itch like hell.
All natural materials, see?
我想那些痒痒的裤子。
100% skin friendly, and they're yours for. 那感觉像是领补助的某种受灾户什么之类的吗？然后在那边变卖各种烂烂的救援物资，或是捡来的东西。所以那个老太太的先生回不来，有可能只是因为桥没办法放下来吧。
Life? I'll be with you in a moment. Oh.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the...
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, alright?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. No, you got this. There's the ball. You're the game.
不会再失败啊！
You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it. Already, your muscles are adjusting to the weight. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball. An embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency.
Merde! Bordel de merde!
A Whorehouse of shit. It wasn't whorehouse of shit. The shot was at least 23 meters.
What the hell is your problem?
不是这样玩哦。
You vandalized our game, son. We can't play pétanque with 5 bull. Yes, pétanque. You ruined our pétanque game. We want our bull back.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding.
Of course there's harm done. You are in... Good. Mistakes are forgiven. When men at least try to...
Yes. Why did you come here? You never know. He might know something. This is a good vantage point.
Yes. The Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the night. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and... money is tight. She... is nobody. This is not...
The lady is Jean-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday. No one. The boss has been on man since...
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes! It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officer. The container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before, René. Monsieur Claire, at that booth...
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage...
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiniers' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated kingsman collecting tear reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words. Oh, I didn't mean to imply there's something wrong with that. I do it too. Everyone does it. It's an excellent side thing.
Yes, yes, yes. Can we conclude the topic of my guard boost now? Yes, yes. Like I said, it would be up and... Unfortunately, I don't. In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really blame cop is a pejorative term? I don't have a problem with policemen.
He doesn't know about the crime. Your time is better spent discussing politics.
I'm confident they are indispensable in regard to all the paperwork and other administrative duties. But you must agree that nature, in her infinite wisdom, has made men more fit to perform certain, more challenging tasks. Don't you, officer? No reason to even feel bad about that. It's just the way of the animal kingdom. Yes, the terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. No, it was left by heavy artillery fire. Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We fought valiantly. Too valiantly. So valiantly we got licked.
我们被英勇的打败。
Should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't though, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough.
It was probably a bit more complicated than that.
This place is a damn beachhead, son. They had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol. Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other two are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where coalition boats first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely, we're playing pétanque on their mangled corpses.
Blood Ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too. The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are...
Well, it's your own damn fault. You
don't even begin to truly understand the players at the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the...
Thinking men have opinions on these things. Present one.
I'm sorry it had to be them. After 8 years of fighting those hyenas, boiling cats for food and drinking piss in the mountains, I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol, or even if that damn clan Frisel had risen from the grave and led us. Sadly, that was not the case. Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage and stupid music on the radio. This is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. It doesn't. That was 100 years ago. It got nothing to do with anything. The suzerain is the king. Has everyone forgotten already? It's no use talking to you. You were still in Daddy's balls when it happened. When we took our last stand against the 5th and rode the cavalry straight.
好了，传奇难度14，我们要来挑战一下，前面已经失败太多次了。对，他是支持国王的老兵啊。哎呦，直接就成功哎！
To his partner and back, the medals on his chest rattle and glare. He keeps his spine straight and his ribcage lifted. 2. The larger one is shaped like a cross, while the smaller medal resembles the sun. A crowned head in front of 2 crossed rifles. The medal hangs from a blue striped triangle. It's the Croix de Bravoure, Cross of Valor. The cross was the highest battlefield decoration in Suzerain's armed forces, awarded for exceptional bravery in the line of duty, in service of King Frizzle I. A small blue star inside an orange sun. It has the word Valiant written below. The setting sun was a decoration used to distinguish seasoned combat veterans in service of King Frizzle I during the Revolution.
For bravery. For doing my duty in the heat of battle. For looking my mortality in the eye. When men like Gaston here hid in the bushes and shot themselves.
还要想起旁边懦弱的人。
He saved some muddy princeling who foolishly strolled into the front line in his gown of velvet and gold.
It was on the first months of the revolution here in Revachol. Unrest was spreading like wildfire. Marauders had taken most of the Couronne and were getting really ambitious. King Frizzle thought he could end it all in one decisive strike. Sent his cousin, Drisson, to put an end to the unrest. Alas, the young Drisson was all piss and no vinegar, wearing a tunic of purple velvet and cockatiel feathers to battle. Even his rifle was gold-plated, shone from 5 clicks away. Can you imagine the asininity?
He really despises that dry sand fellow.
purple velvet tunic. That isn't exactly camo.
To keep the long and bloody story short, Drastar marched us against the partisans in Kuan. And when I say march, I mean made us walk into captured enemy territory, single file, like toy soldiers, while he rode in front on his giant red stallion. The rebels were smart. They let us come real close before opening fire. Suffice to say, it was carnage. I got shot in the left shoulder and went down. Just a flesh wound. But just as I turned over, the prince fell into the mud next to me. He was missing his lower jaw.
Huh?
Then his horse, driven mad by the noise and smell of gunpowder, stepped on my leg and shattered my knee. I grabbed my sidearm and shot the beast in the head. Then everything went black.
Capitaine Arnoux, le fléau des chevaux.
The bane of horses.
When I came to, it was all over. It was just me and Jolas Tresson, gurgling in the blood-soaked mud right next to me.
没有下巴不，这个失血过度应该也没有办法存活了。
The Dink had taken numerous flesh wounds and lost a lot of blood. But despite missing his jaw, he seemed hesitant.
犹豫要不要死去
Tougher than he looked, that one.
我经历过更糟糕的事。
Right. So I grabbed the prick and started crawling. Kept going until the 59th Cavalry picked us up. Through some miracle, we both survived. And the jealous freak convinced Frissel to give me a medal for not leaving him to die in his own blood. Piece and shit. He was the commanding officer and I was on duty. Just doing my job. Shouldn't hand out medals for that. 13 months later, I received the Sun for distinguished service. It's not worth mentioning.
You sense he's downplaying it. He did a lot more than his duty. More than anyone's duty. It's in his spine, in his billowing breasts, and untarnished self-worth. The old carabinier stands quietly like a statue, his features motionless.
What Monseigneur Modesty is not telling you is that he crawled over 7 kilometers before the cavalrymen found him and Drastar. 2 days later that was. And that even while crawling with a mangled half-dead prince on his back, he still managed to murder 3 rebels on his way.
Is that pride in his voice? It's deep down, but maybe even unbeknownst to the man himself, it's there.
Maybe, but also bear in mind, officer. They don't end this out for anyone with a service record. Oh no, you have to get shot repeatedly, and you need to get your hands bloody too.
Do not speak of what you know nothing about, Poltroon. Duty is something you will never understand. Because he was a goddamn dandy. Had no business leading men or even being on the battlefield. All he was related. That's it. Royal blood alone doesn't make army commanders. He was a stupid kid, only interested in horses, hairstyles, and man-loving.
男性之爱。
782 Royal Carabiniers are dead because of his incompetence.
Whoa, man-loving? Is that even a word? It is not.
Bah! There were many such stories in those days. Many such men too. True Eversholians. Men with backbone.
Oh yes, René, yes. Men were bigger, girls were prettier, and everyone wore the fascia. Lord, please bring those days back if you can.
I'm not getting into this with you again. Officer, Was there anything else?
You should try to come up with a heroic story of your own. Impress this old soldier.
Ah, yes. King Philip the...
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a
superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood. Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that.
Don't get started on that again.
The Carabiner doesn't reply, but...
Oh, old Philip was a big fan of the purple-nosed candy the nobility loved so much.
You can't even take the responsibility for yourself. How could you fathom the responsibility weighing on the shoulders of a ruler? That's why the Philippian kings use cocaine, for clarity of vision, to aid in their work. Regnum cocainum, Revachol's finest years.
真的假的？古柯碱统治期反而是瑞瓦肖最辉煌的岁月。
Of course, clarity of vision, awareness.
Philip III was even brought into this world with the help of cocaine. The court made him administer the dose to his mother when she was in labor, and it is well known that with the help of cocaine, only the purest, of course, he was able to connect with higher realms.
He's just making excuses for his habits, isn't he?
From what I've seen of the officers of the RCM... But I don't want to get into a debate about drug policies. Right.
非常拥护国王。哎，不是吧？还好啊，没有真的让我拿这个球。我要去哪里找到他替代品？难怪丢滚球的那个检定那么容易成功。为什么这里是手掌的图案？我没有东西可以拿。嗯，它界面坏掉了，现在不管指什么都是手掌。
The tracks are as they have ever been, a bit more worn perhaps. Fortunately, the street sweepers still have.
压过那个招牌继续往南开的，应该就是这个在追踪的轮胎印吧。
The worn and beaten.
We can sit on benches after.
应该没有漏掉什么东西，所以南边也看完了。
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
I am the Lord.
You sure are, my man.
Yes, people get that you are the law.
From another planet. Hey there.
回答完了还可以再继续听是三小了。
It's the jam, my man.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils, heavy metals and other...
It's a traffic jam for the ages. Our brigade's up the street. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo. for days upon days upon days. Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires. Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need?
我到处跟人乞讨靠。
Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished work. The bosses, man. Makes sense. It sucks is what it does. He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries.
Ask for his conclusion.
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company? I forget what exactly. Good on them. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They want to keep that money flowing in, my man.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Anything else? Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep.
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms.
Relax. He's merely joking.
你被捕了。
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This hop, they usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The boss, not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of.
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6?
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically.
Don't be a stranger.
到处都是无法通过的检定。标新立异感觉没什么屁用啊。对，不如换这件。强身健体，强身健体，不知道是不是可以殴打小屁孩呢？哎，偷走了货车的1.3块，你真是个好警察。
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see the driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of a large metal pendant hangs from the rear view. It is a seal of Royalist era reversion. The back end of the cabin has a small
保皇派甚至可能是种族纯净主义者之类的。
A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large muscular man.
又是这个。
The title reads, "Man."
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously.
那个人我们之前应该已经遇过了嘛？这个家伙的车。
Looking for something odd?
It's not the...
Not sheep. Actually, neither ostriches or sheep bury their heads in the sand. It's just a saying.
Whatever. Go back to your college class, Pino. I'm not the only one. Look, I've read books. The science of people who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, Nat, open your eyes. Haven't you noticed something different lately? An unfortunate downturn, maybe? Huh? When members of the superior race cease to believe in their innate superiority, they stop competing for resources. The problem? The damn kips are showing a real good game lately. Same with the mosquitoes. And the other introduced species too. They're on the precipice of cultural victory.
Cultural victory? What is this then?
文明帝国玩太多。
It's what the kips of Boogie Street are going for, right under our noses. And the others too, on the radio. Heard any chansons lately? Heard any motetos or leader? No. Dominating culture is how they plan to win. They say so themselves. It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? You might end up with a new sub-race, with unknown characteristics, leading to extra competition. That's why. Go right ahead.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi is stern. Not a lot of moral fiber on this one yet, he thinks. Wriggled out of it.
Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike. Apples.
Apples? It's exactly the kind of thing you'd say if you had something to hide.
Look, as detective, I come from a long line of lorrymen. We got ancient right. Oh, I'm here to pick up a load of fucking apples, man.
Damn, you're not gonna get more out of him on this. He's put up the wall of racism.
Oh yeah, they're a big deal. My great-grandfather was a carter. Had a royal license and everything. Sure fucking is. We have a guild and everything, huh? Very ancient. Goddamn right. They've been trying to fuck us. Trusting street thugs where they're good.
我们的空瓶不知道累积了多少钱呢？感觉是没多少。那这里面会写吗？有20个空瓶。
The tear machines. Your bottles clunk into the machine.
2块钱，我一天要付20块耶，2块钱可以活个鸟蛋啊！塞亚风都不够啊。
Is this about the questions again? A warehouse.
She looks up.
Fine, for it doesn't have a warehouse.
"看一下我们还有多少的支线要去查看呢？沿着街道走，有可能找到警证。明显不会在这个区域。这里算是东方嘛，我们南面也去过了，北面也算是去过了，但还有一些区域没有成功进去过。
An old call box with a matrix. This button.
Huh. This button looks new. It's probably not connected.
An off-key melody.
Kudos! Please stop calling here.
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this?
Pardon? Please just stop calling here.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead. You ring the doorbell. What an ominous name for a hair salon. Doesn't all you hear is static? You ring the doorbell, but you wait for a minute. Looks like someone has melted half the plastic off. You hear static from the... You can almost hear them breathe.
Yes, hello. This is checheChang Electric.
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice was being... Wait, but what happened to Slipstream SCA? There's no Tricentennial Electrics on the list.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanged.
It's you.
She must be mistaken you for... Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it.
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been... Ever since I came to work here.
A spot of static overrides hope.
It's so nice to be able to finally forget.
She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay. Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold standing.
I don't know what happened either. We should probably stop playing with this thing.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name card.
意志坚定.
An old call box with a mate. Whatever she says,
又成功了，
can't
靠北。
hurt you. You're a different person now. Stronger, healthier, and alright. Maybe not healthier, but it's a bonus. There's a light buzz as you press them. A strange metallic taste fills your mouth as you stare at the intercom. There's the static again, whispering like a seashell pressed against...
Yes, hello. This is checheChang Electric. Have you come to place an order? My God.
Here come the bad vibes again. Relax. Distance yourself from it.
It's you.
Wait, is she...
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call?
Is this some kind of joke? The voice from the intercom doesn't answer, but your hands are getting cold and your breathing becomes visible, forming small silvery puffs.
Ever since I came to work, as if my mind's been wiped clean.
And then it hits you.
这只是个电话录音。
She tries again not to cry, and still doesn't succeed completely. Her quiet sobs sound old and distant, as if her voice is... Her sound melts into the static. This is where you hung up the call the last time. But the phone rings in the office with an old-fashioned chime, and someone walks by in a pair of heels. The static is like a warm blanket wrapped around the sounds. No one replies, but the static grows stronger like rainfall. Then a female voice speaks out. Her words are too cold to comprehend. She smells of sodium lights and rain streaks on car windows. Eyes like pilot lights watch your shape in dark hallways.
So... It was a recording trapped in the circuitry from some ancient tenant. This sometimes happens. Shall we conclude here? We have other mysteries to solve. I don't have time to explain it to you right now, maybe sometime later. Don't take this the wrong way, but during our short stint working together, something weird is almost always happening to you.
That is true. Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers your call. You hear the same waiting room music, but
不知道刚才那个门会不会是进到一些我们本来没办法去区域的路线？肯定有别的办法。墙面上满是弹孔，哪里有什么别的办法
the door to the we.
可以喊话？怎么喊话？你说我直接在下面跟他讲话？哦，还真的。
You see a young man on a back.
Not looking for any trouble, officer. I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony
Is it really that important?
like a nervous cat.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run. My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
That's definitely not his real name.
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice? I'd even go so far as to say that the view is a little too good, my dear gendarme.
We will remove the body as soon as possible.
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Wait, is someone else investigating the lynching?
No, not you. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
Last week? I don't know. Look.
A downy blanket of white to...
You didn't answer the question.
It was my Sunday friend.
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the grey sky.
No. We won't. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
Shit.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tear.
Trash? Listen, I have good luck with the investigation.
这只有一次机会，他就走掉了。
He's gone. No point in running. He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Let's go check out the door.
A stone.
不会是用砸的吧？
There's a key beneath it.
This must be for the front door. We'll just have to go in and see.
对，底下有长钥匙。 原来阅读是打发时间用的。为什么在水箱里面会有镁片啊？还有红准酱酒。鞋子里面也有钱。这是什么？这是明信片。
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis. I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry. Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
Yes, yes. I know who you mean.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying.
What's he in trouble for? Talk?
What was so funny?
He lives upstairs in room 28.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony.
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways. If you can call it living. It's barely bigger than a closet. But I don't complain, no. I have my...
She hasn't spoken to anyone for a while. Even her sentences feel rusty.
Ask away, policeman. People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
They probably just moved.
拿手电筒照人家脸。
Hopefully somewhere else.
Oh, no, this is terrible.
旧的购物清单还有张支票。
It will still be accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value indeed.
.这是不是就到那个外面的阳台了？ Yep， 就是海边的阳台。
Ruination has come. The broken arches betray the once grand history of this building. A great force from the northeast fired into the city. Heavy artillery shelled the coastline. Fired from the water. A straight shot into Revachol. The tenement acted as a defensive wall against the worst of the shelling until it was destroyed, and they had a direct firing line. The waves of the Martinez Inlet rolled over the fallen remains of what didn't fall into the ocean was used as scrap. Those arches acted as support for something greater than what you see now. Only 3 stories stand where 9 to 12 once did. Restoration has failed. What the Schilling took out was never rebuilt. A fleet, the combined armies of Occident and Grad, with Mesk volunteers, a 5-nation army, hundreds of vessels. They massed airships further down in the Bay of Revachol. The artillery was so powerful. The ships not only required gyroscopic stabilization, they were anchored into the ocean floor as well. Many are still there to this day. If you squint, you can just barely see the shadow on the water, far in the northeast. Cannons still ready to placate Revachol. Coalition warship Archer can shoot 50 shells a minute on 20 co-aligned archers. They will reach the city in 58 seconds.
The coalition, but that was a long time ago. I think we should move on.
The streets will flow red once more, a great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C. And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
A brush, an artist. The red splatter is urban expressionism. That smell coming from her paint bucket, it's not paint, it's heavy fuel oil. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil is only used in government vehicles, or at least that's the idea.
What for? Well, if it's for art, but what kind of art are we talking about? Sounds like you're just about to live out your self-pity, not make a statement. I can't have shit art on my conscience. Yeah, not gonna hold my breath, Piggy. You look like you'd suck. Everything.
标新立异毫无可能。
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock. Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage. I ain't no snitch, Pigstein. Go forth and forage in...
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative...
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
She turns her head to face the coast and nods disdainfully toward Joyce, performing maintenance on hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of...
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her. On a first name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world. Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor? Watch your back.
Rigorous self-critique. Here it is. Hard facts from the man you are. You once jerked off and were caught. You held a young woman by the arm and kept her in your apartment for 20 minutes against her will. That's right. These are not flights of fancy. These are Real deeds, Harry, emerging from the darkness of your past. You tried shooting a fleeing suspect in the foot, but hit him in the pelvis, crippling him for life. And, above all, you let life defeat you. All the gifts your parents gave you, all the love and patience of your friends, you drowned in a neurotoxin. You let misery win, and it will keep on winning till you die, or overcome it.
靠背啊！严格的自我批判，把自己所有的，把自己所有的黑历史都挖出来了。手生锈了，椅子是新的，所以可以剪开吗？不像是有互动的功能。你是说那个思维画面的插图吗？我看起来应该是真的对着他的思维在画的。所以。我这可以拿到标新立异+1的价值，所以那个扫地的老奶奶跟这个骷髅星帝应该是住一起的吧？然后我们就偷走他们的钱了，哇，人真好，我真是个神探！天哪！我们怎么可以这么丧尽天良？老奶奶跟骷髅星帝都要饿肚子了。这里下去是哪里？海岸的出口是吗？因为它看起来公寓都是直接到2楼呀，海岸的出口。
You're back. Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Elements. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Good luck is only kept in place by the vested interests of half the civilized world, including your own.
What the ma'am means is that the Emergencies Act and the RCM both get their authority from the coalition government.
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about the strike. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place.
Wait, she just admitted that the lynching and the strike are connected.
Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. Oh, so you've met him. Has he beguiled you with his inane theories?
My colleague has his peculiarity.
Of course. To each their own. Yes, I believe there is a connection. But that's a subject for later. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike?
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union. There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh, every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines Group has more effective channels of information.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrog come to plead for work where the union refuses to?
Don't let her answer it herself.
If these strikebreakers were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not yet, at least.
It's implied. She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
If you were to prick it with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier.
Oh, heavens, no. We get along just fine. Yet, now that you mention it, I can't stop imagining that black treacle just dribbling down his double chin. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said...
This forewoman, her name?
Sadly, the company records do not even give a name. She's just forewoman in private correspondence, Holly. I don't even know if it's a sir or given name. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just...
Of course. How else can I help? You have.
Finally, time to choose sides.
彩虹工人主义者，他的彩虹应该是筛粉吧，就是吸食工人的血汗的人。我不知道这为什么会翻成彩虹，我不知道原文是什么。筛粉的话是虹吸，不是彩虹。嗯。
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have corruption? That's how he's done it.
The position of my unusual colleague does not reflect official policy. I hope you understand.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. How could I stop you?
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Did you now? What sort of borscht is he making? The strike brew. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it? Beyond curious. I will choose to interpret that as you turning the alcohol in the strike brew down, for the sake of our professional relationship. And because I don't like the idea of them any more drunk than they already are. What else? Oh.
The lieutenant looks at you. He's able to...
小耳机都在颤抖。
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Did he now? Well, then it should be any day now.
Perhaps he is.
Weird. Oh no. One of the... Which isn't to suggest our talks constitute corporate espionage.
The lieutenant might have, but I...
Of course, Detective. Until then, is there anything I can help you with? Quite a few things. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trades.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves.
我没有，
I'm Lieutenant
我没有
Kitsurai
警政。
from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of the more curious turns in our conversation.
She must have been suspecting something.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCA.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I...
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some...
Of course. The situation is extremely...
循循善诱有办法加值吧？我记得。Yeah， 这个会扣。
You're back. Good. What? I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of all...
Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you.
She's silent.
Officer. You know...
You're doing...
I'll be frank with you.
哎呦
Union or...
Detective.
让我独挡，我没有打算要失败，好吗？我都已经穿衣服了。拜托让我通过！我现在严厉的自我苛责，在失败的时候还会补士气回来，所以已经不容易玻璃心破碎了。
What can I help you with? I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of formal
我没有换衣服。
course. The situation is You're back. I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken
Feelings.
看到恢复士气就表示悲剧了。不知道去哪里找警政呢？感觉我是可以先找到警政再来跟他谈，就不用经过这些检定。
You're back. I'm afraid I can't say any more. Of course, the situation is.
每次都忘记穿衣服，先穿衣服再存档。
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? I'm afraid I can't say any more until we.
Feelings will guide.
加油，哈利加油！不是我要加油，哈利加油，你可以的，你已经穿衣服了，而且他还同情你最近失忆，额外再加一，还是失败，靠！骰下去，每次都有一颗骰子是1，真的很靠背，随机的啊。 只要是主动掷骰都是随机的，被动检定的话好像是固定值。
What can I help you? I'm afraid I can't say any more until.
Feelings will guide the way.
对啊，它骰出来的数字不一样啊。我相信这次会过，42%没道理失败这么多次。
You're back. I'm afraid I can't say any more until.
She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuates.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something very tangible.
You're in. but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Or, you can recover your badge, though if I may be blunt with you, it sounds like that may be a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue. This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchman. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it.
You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take months. No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union. Or what I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the lynching. I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me.
You're back. Good. It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes, after they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbor.
How convenient that this
所以外面的那些货车司机，我之所以都有问他运什么货的问题，就是因为这个。
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now.
Her irises are light green, like...
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver...
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
We did. On more than one occasion.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union.
Well, here's your chance, officers. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands...
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one drop. The two might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in. on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a yes? Excellent. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance.
The 15th Indo tribe. Because there was. The 15th Indo tribe was comprised of 8 kids from Forberg and North Jamrock, running from wild dogs in the valley, hiding scents under rocks, and stealing clothes off clotheslines, and sometimes even the copper wiring of phone lines. You may have been one of them. This must be a childhood memory. The 15th Indo tribe was your Indo tribe, set to rule in Cylinder. The rest of the kids are dead now. Car accidents and drug overdoses. Only you remain.
每次点击绿色球体时就可以赚10分钱。What？ 这什么鬼思维？还可以直接具现化出货币来啊！回去调查阳台上那个吸烟的人。
You hear someone walk. The walking stops abruptly. A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room.
Let's go.
It's generally easy.
到处骚扰民众。
This door has been closed with it's a solid lump of metal, but the chef better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
切啊，对不对？我们有在意后果的吗？
This door has been closed with a padlock. The shackle.
After you, detective.
革命分子拿枪摆姿势的相片。真的是每点一次加10分钱呢。
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man.
真的想象力就是超能力，到处点，到处想象出货币来。
The plinth reads, Kraz Marzov.
The White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting. I suspect that's exactly what they are trying to do. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems. It was definitely controversial. The tenant here, there aren't many communists around, not after the...
只加标新立异没有坏处。这个还扣1，循循善诱，这个是没有任何坏处。等一下，这个穿在里面，所以我的标新立异可以加2。那存个档啊。搞不好我们可以去跟骷髅星地标新立异一下，对不对？我也希望我在现实生活中随便查看一个物件就可以赚10块钱。
Hello again, officers.
Have you come to admire my mural?
17%是吧？
Hello again, officers.
我会通过的，你阻止不了我。我要去油漆那面墙。加2从3%变17%，所以一点加了7%的成功率。
Hello again, officers.
如果我下一次升级头点的话，也只有从17%加到多少？21，不对，34，24加7嘛。
Hello again, officers.
我看他有跟他聊锅炉式的选项，等一下也看一下好了。
Hello again, officers. Have you? Oh, not only have you found my.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
Does anyone in a city like this? Yes, I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens. It doesn't have to do anything at all.
Inspiration will come to her once hell is.
Shoot, Piggy. It's.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire?
知道生活条件还可以再加1耶。按 F9 可以快速读取，所以我不需要开界面。等一下，再加1之后变成，它不是等值的，
Hello again, officers.
直接
Have you
从
come to admire my mural?
17变28，加了11%的成功率。所以多加一点头点技能点的话，其实改善的幅度蛮大的。
Hello again, officers. Have you? Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
应该说，我们原本的最难检定，之所以成功率只有3%，是因为必须要双6才会成功。也就是说，那个3%就是只有双6的时候会成功。然后等到我们的加值加到一定的程度的时候，它中间就会有非常多个数字可以通过。那越多的数字可以通过，成功率就越高。有了，远古鸟类骨骼化。
Oh boy. The idea is going to blow her. She squints her eyes.
你的技术不足以切实的执行想法，但是一定可以用这个想法打动他。靠
On fire. I say, sod off. You don't have the technical skills to do that. Didn't we all? I like your idea. Should have thought of it myself. Then get your brush from.
You're a police officer and a grown-up. Why are you trying to impress her? Maybe try a different approach.
And I need an aircraft carrier. So what? Have you got any kids? Because you sound like the. But fine. Take a brush.
我还击倒到他的刷子。
You know what you should be able to find in your government-issued vehicle? Red-dyed heavy fuel oil. Are you kidding me? Fuel oil is so much cooler. No way you're disfiguring that beautiful wall with something as pedestrian as ordinary paint.
My fuel oil is for my kinema. Use your own fuel if you are unable to contain your artistic impulses, but please, leave my kinema out of it.
Can't you tell? I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words. Yeah? Thanks.
She means the opposite.
我要去哪里搞到蓝油？结果有了刷子只是第一步，我以为我可以跟他一起把整组公共艺术的任务都搞定了。
That isn't just a five-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a
I'll keep my armistice handy, detective.
只站着。
He doesn't actually reach for his gun. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th. Even today, half a century after, the star and antlers were to symbolize the toppling of the old. Also, some social democrats were already using it, because white is the color of peace. You see noble aims, but also the price of idealism, unrestrained by humanism. Never again.
好了，该去阳台了。他还在读取中，我也可以存档，是怎么回事？保险起见，还是覆盖一下。绿色泡泡我又来了，又来使用超能力啊！赚钱，赚钱。
This door is made of metal. Number 28.
Let's see if anyone.
等一下，先让我赚钱。我不能把这个门锁剪开，他说我该把它撬开，看来是不行。
This door is made of metal, and number 28. This is where.
Let's see if anyone.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance. We should return tomorrow after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Sound good? The smoker on the balcony. This is why we're here.
Don't worry. It's mostly all still here. You can remember things.
Tomorrow, 9 p.m., right here. Apartment number 28.
Damn. Turns out it's quite tricky. Remember, tomorrow. He's probably gone for today.
明天晚上9点，明天桥也还会放下来耶，应该说水闸会修好，所以还要去南边看南边的事故。不知道时间会不会不够用，因为对话都要花时间。 我可以不用标新立异了。虽然我不知道天人感应有什么用。我现在是露出我的胸毛吗？这这服装真的是。等一下，我不会晚上可以来偷他的油吧
The afternoon sun shimmers off the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage. Do something important? Something. This is a Caprice Kanema. With its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine. Drive even at a standstill. The unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and dynamic. Someone has waxed it recently.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look? 130.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there. Man, that's got to be a major advancement over the KR18GU engine on the old Caprice 40.
You lost me there. The Kinema is fast. Feels right at home on the raised motor track. Hard to find something that could overtake it.
Armel Ryu Supersonique. A racing motorbike for the road could probably do it.
人家才刚打过烂，你应该用手乱摸吗？
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches beats me.
When the man moves around, there's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different his shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls held up by a belt. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his.
果然是派来的人。
Silence is the answer. There's something off here. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy.
What's it to you? Big mess caused by union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people.
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems a more brutal, cunning, and suspicious person. Just a hunch. Or...
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
So, how'd you like...
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
这都是唯一坨屎。
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye. Like Los Ardis? They're an independent militant group. A bit, they're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law.
The unpromising.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your protect.
He had nothing to do. Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called hardy boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. The company is spiritually degrading.
You pick up on something artificial in his tone, like he's putting on an act. This is unlike him.
来路不明的女变态。
They have recently fallen under the influence of a possibly sexually perverted female vagrant and a narcotics peddler. It's shameful. Find out for yourself.
Interesting.
And look, babe. The mignon of law is also a racist, but his racism is basic and road. He thinks he has solved the great race enigma by describing a road mechanism of scientific competition.
So unadvanced.
The basic race education he received in high school has led him to think his phylum are the sole authors of race. You could have used this opportunity to overcome your narrow. Take solace from the fact that these thoughts will never.
Damn, Jian, how are you so romantic?
Was there an out of this for you with success? Or was the rhetoric game rigged? I can't tell.
刚才也是真的有正确的选项吗？我先试一下，反正中间没做什么其他事情。我还没放下尸体，我上次去放的都失败了。
The unpromising, right? I am not.
You pick up on something artificial in his tone.
Fine.
Interesting.
He does not so much as glance.
Stop showing.
He hadn't. Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
And fascinating. The Revacholian degenerate shows signs of racial self-reflection. How did you accomplish this little feat? So it would seem Ralph rule, and of course, if the Revacholian degenerate is capable of critical thought,
Jian, baby, you did the heroic thing.
that is not possible. The game of Shahmat you play against the rule, you will not. You cannot withstand.
It's super hard, Jian. My mom.
Let's go, officer. Let's go to.
他还是不让我过啊！
The unpromising race.
但我至少拿到经验值，然后还有一个新的思维，现实的荒原。哇靠！减2强身健体，而且要研究20个小时这么久。
The file cabinet stands steady as ever. Slide. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes. All items on the drawer slides.
我们的警佐同伴就这样一直看着我们在那边捡回收，真的是齁。
A rusting control panel, no screech of metal when you push. Before the cargo container, its draw has not lessened since you were last here.
所以在世界上待2天会加1，能延3到4还非常低哦。也就是说，检定难度超过15或16之类的，它是18。我即使再加一点技能点，也不会再加，所以。就只能等天数，让它加 buff 上去之类的。一神一鬼加1。其实我不太确定它的剧情里面是不是有多少任务其实是时效性限制的，就是你没有在第几天内完成的话，之后就没有机会完成。
Mr. Dubois, every worker.
都要为了自己。
And for his fellow man. That's right, Mr. Dubois. You're turning out to be quite the individualist there. So, you had business with me?
什么叫我把它关掉？
Are you shitting me, Harry? Did you not really open the door and are now just telling me you did?
Good. Now take it a bit further. Take it.
I bet it was, Harry. But seriously, what did you see in his apartment?
A guy who has antagonized the Union in a Union-run town. Maybe it's political.
That's exactly what I thought, Harry. What a weasel. And for the record, I was only curious, not testing you.
He was testing you.
Thank you, Harry. You have shown me that the Barder's Union and a citizens' militia can indeed work together. Now, let's cut down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramoritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. No, you haven't, Harry. I haven't told you anything about the crime yet. Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they... But enough about me and my fun.
应该把你的货柜举起来丢到海里。
The company hired. I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to...
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our...
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
That does sound quite unlikely, yes. The big guy leading the scabs at the gate is colossal.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary
提到7个
union
人
members. Always working to... Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself.
Interesting.
They're almost all of them great guys, work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't...
He's betting on them being useless to you.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Hello there.
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry, it's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
哦，是一个造钱工程师。
What does your heart tell you about your lost gun, Harry? Does it tell you to forget about it? Or do you think it wants to be found? I think it's lonely and cold. I think it wants to be found, and I have a proposal for you.
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm gonna hand you the keys to Martinez, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately.
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like...
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Am I? Harry, these people, Martinez is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them. We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. Perfectly acceptable. No one's gonna force you into anything, but the good news is, the moment you change your mind and want to look into this matter, just tell me, and we'll be...
The lieutenant's eyes meet yours, and he shrugs.
这个到底是什么意思啊？把什么关掉呢？
See you soon. Mr. Dubois. What? Did I? Well done then, Harry. I don't even want to know what all of that means. Brew, shady, alcohol, turned off. I'm gonna let the world surprise me. Oh, that's very nice. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you find your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy. If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just...
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Yes, please, Harry. Feel free to speak your mind or ask me anything. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals. It's perfectly okay. Even if you've... Of course, Harry, I have no interest in what she is doing. But I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now.
Hmm. 出去找司机。我不太确定是不是两边一定要帮一边完成任务才有办法有进展。但至少游戏的引导上看起来像是这样。虽然说他没有明确到怕你不知道怎么做，就直接告诉你加入其中一个派系，但还是一直引导你选边站。然后我们一开始到底是怎么把外套丢到这里的？夸张。感觉最可疑的就是那个种族主义的司机啊，说他在运苹果。
Something odd? Come to tell me to drugs? They are shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Mirizza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our look. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
He eyes you wearily, unsure.
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been...
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were since he left. I haven't had anyone to talk to.
If they were getting drunk inside the whirling in rags, how could they know who broke into the lorry?
What? Aren't we allowed to say that he's a kips who do all the stealing around here? That's not road to science, man. Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Or really, he just follows the smell.
Yes, yes.
Looks like I offended your partner there. His tribe are natural liars.
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until...
Guess so.
这很明显是偏见啊！
Still here, stuck in this damn jam, my man. What's up? Ah, man, me and narcotics go way back. But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the...
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout...
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
We wouldn't say he's lying, sire. The woman is still hunched over the railing.
Huh? What is it? What do you want? What do I need drugs for, Lowman? What I see, what I feel. The great adversary. No drugs can compare. Yes, there is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary, the great unrest.
Then what were you getting at?
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
Who the fuck is Irad? Ah, and what do I care about the union boss? He's no Garrier, he's no Franco Negro. He's maybe, probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. Just this month I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grad, on the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grad, Lowman? No, Lowman, diamonds. Where do you want me to go? Or I can just relax.
I think we're done here, no?
绿色泡泡又可以赚10分钱了。它游戏是有重循径点的，所以像我在这里按向上的时候，它会自动走这个楼梯。应该是防止了很多操控上的不便利性。
You see a Samarran street vendor surrounded by a motley assembly. The name Sileng is embroidered.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool. You're very cool.
You feel a twitch in your index fingers. There's a finger shootout brewing.
Don't shoot, officer. Have we got an arrest here or just a shakedown? Good one, officer. You're a funny guy. Now, what can I do for you?
He does not need your money. Please disregard that. We're just here to ask some questions.
Of course. Fire away.
靠腰啦，为什么有新思维啊？有没有能言善道？没有。这个有减1，所以我们把它拿掉。
Everything's still cool here.
有了58%，升档了。
Everything's still
给我钱。
No need to dress this way.
到处在跟人乞讨，真的是。我们以前真的是个办案很成功的警探吗？
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Start with a little compliment, then work your way up from there. This is about business, remember.
Oh, okay. But why an investment? What kind of investment?
我是个有实验性的人类，投资回报率是很疯狂的。
I guess it can't be any riskier than speculating in exotic derivatives. How much are we talking about here? 10 real is a bargain for that kind of investment. You got it, my man. Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
我吸毒都吸疯了。
That's so cool! You investigating the local drug trade like some cool narc? But I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
A blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction. We'd believe him if we didn't know better.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. I'm...
Realizing he can't get out of it. Smart man.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream. No! That's insane! It's the fat hater! Nothing! I told you! I'm not...
And what crowd is that?
Crowd! You know, the drug crowd?
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd.
Shush, please! There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please, don't get me into this mess. I spent 15 years working my way up.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her.
Interesting. Could this driver be connected to the Hardy Boys?
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't...
He's not ruling her out.
I don't know. I'm not local. I don't know anything about that. All of them.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos. All right. I scored. Me?
This man probably comes from Seaguy, sometimes known as the Apricot.
Very cool.
唯一的女司机是那个沉迷电影已经腔掉的老妇人。可是看起来不像啊。
The woman is still the woman.
Huh? What is it? You just call me a lady, Herife? I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It does. I'm only terrifying to small children.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other camion? Because they can no longer recognize the person I want. The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there. It's all just. In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want.
In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't hear any vocals.
Awesome.
不是他，然后不太可能像那个种族主义者在打听到什么有用的讯息，因为他就是想要栽赃这个摊贩。
Looking for something odd? Come to. I don't know what you're talking about. Headed something. He stole his employee. Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Evashel West. You don't run Martinez.
No. He means La Puta Madre.
A legendary, and not in a good way, crime boss from Jamrock.
Yeah, him.
Then I presume you are familiar with his peonies.
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all over the unions.
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking peonies would do anything for him. Multi-ethnic drug addicts.
The lieutenant adopts a rodentine quality. Be cool, sire. He's getting into this.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing if you were.
No, of course not. We are not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him, then it's a good peony's job to find out who that is.
He's surprisingly good at this. Not bad at all. Look at him lurching.
It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way, protecting this fucking thief.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the Lorrymen and Carters Guild.
You've seen the corpse in the yard, yes? You took a peek. I know you did. Does it look like his friends protected him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely perceptible nod. Be careful. This man's still got some fight in him by the looks of it. It won't be easy to...
还要加疑神疑鬼才打得过他。疑神疑鬼，手套。好，来看一下有没有扣的。
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking. Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy.
Hey, 这可以吃吗？
A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, "You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark." Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is.
删除我先生是三小。
This is not about flowers or bark. What is this about? Why are you looking at this? You neatly fold the wrapper into...
哼，可以拿起来查看。
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck
去你妈的减一！但经成功的虚张声势有帮我们加2。
Looking for something odd?
还是失败了。
Looking for something odd?
Men like this only respect two things: strength and fear.
Fuck you, I told you. I'm not gonna...
There. His voice grows smaller as yours.
Fucking homo cop. Look, fuck you, man. It's some lorry down there. Green banged up thing. I don't fucking know who she is.
When did she go away?
I don't know. I don't even know her name. She just rolls with the fleet and acts like a big shot. Some dyke, probably. Past the monument. Down there. The Green Temple. Nah.
A small temple by the monument. Green. Let's get into the...
Mm-hmm.撞毁了的这一台。
This screen found A to Z Contemporaire is parked in the shadow of the ruin.
This must be the one he told us about, unless he was lying.
The glass on the side windows is tinted and covered. The door is locked. There's no picking this lock. The owner has put special care into it.
Use the pry bar to smash the window. Open it from the inside. This has been hard enough. No need to make it any harder.
This screen found.
我正在研究的思维会扣我的强身健体2，所以这个有点糟。我让自己的成功率变超低的。这已经加1回来了，但还是很弱。我没有其他扣强身健体的道具，也没有其他增加的道具。
This screen found A to Z Contemporaire. Pry bar in.
糟糕！要是没有这2点的话，我们应该有一个接近40%的成功率，38%之类的。
This screen found A to Z. Pry bar.
Shit， 自己搞自己耶。它那个回收瓶好像也不是再生的啊，所以我要是真的后来没钱了怎么办？有药可以嗑吗？我什么都没有买，应该是没有。再去看看尸体吧，这个就先算了。他在这里耶。我要怎么上去顶楼找他？
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is it.
要点上钢筋铁骨才能重新直骰，是超糟的。
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your...
Looks like the circus left town. but the clowns are still here. So, you're not just here to swing your big dick. You're here for the pretty boy. A real looker, that one.
They couldn't get him down, boss. He's still up there.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Everard? And what did he tell you? That we killed him? That we took a cargo belt from the harbor, went out back, and used it to hang him? Because we did. All of us together. I hope he told the story straight.
There's a catch hidden somewhere. He didn't confess so that you could take them all away. It's too simple.
There is no catch. These 7 honest men have all equally come forth to tell you what happened, so that you don't waste any more of your time.
All 7 together. They're diluting responsibility. It's an anti-arrest tactic.
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a hardy boy. Do you think you could do that? Do you think...
A trick question. Don't let her lead the conversation.
Who do you fucking think does?
It wasn't a question, dickwad. How fucking stupid are you?
This asshole is worse than...
I think you got your answer.
Yes, there are some administrative differences. But on that night, they all acted as one man.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped...
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Kohoi and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade, right here in our bar.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines.
Cause one night he walked straight up to the mic and said, "I'm Oranese goddamn Special Forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all."
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some Oranese paratroopers.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there. Like some kind of animal.
Sire, the tale is true. This is a serious violation of the Karaoke Code.
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
From rape to harassment to threats of violence. Why the strange de-escalation?
对啊。
To kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started to come in here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grab one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
那这边酒吧老板怎么会不知道这个佣兵做的事
He grabbed someone?
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. "Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt?" Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you.
Yeah, me and Eugene got around. Aren't you fucking listening?
There's something odd. Seems like they don't want to talk about that rape Titus mentioned. Why not? This is a serious allegation.
No. You're not getting the name. That's a Martin.
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a...
Known him? Yeah!
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town.
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? The representative for what?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent it. Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your...
We hanged him up by his neck.
Didn't they teach you any?
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
Titus.
We overpowered him. Dragged his unconscious body to the tree.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then see if it all adds up.
Like what, Copper? How many people have you sent to the shit?
Chaise électrique is the method.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
Rest assured, lawman. None worse than our guy. He got what was coming to him.
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations.
I think we're going to stick around. I've done this job for long enough to know.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law officials.
又是一个红色检定。技能点数不足。哦，我这有1点，没事，我刚以为我有2点。
Looks like the circus left him, but the clowns are still here. Oh.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us? You gonna let him talk to me like that?
Let's see. The old man sent word you'd be around again.
But having Everard back you up like that did seem to have some effect.
Again.
Good one.
We hang.
Didn't they take...
This is where an autopsy.
Titus.
We overpowered.
Then we left.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first. Then
没有任何价值。
With numbers, asshole. How do you think?
No, he hasn't. Not yet. Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But
No. Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just
fuck off, Shanky. Angus is a powerful guy.
keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of twig.
weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our...
And fuck you too, Copper.
This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Like what, Copper? About fucking.
等一下再试试看，为什么不直接逮捕你呢？
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like
时
bony
机未到。
There's a little slide panel up there to let some air in. No need to open it in spring. It's still too cold outside.
可能是要晚上吧。
The circus left him, but the clowns are still here. Again. Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert dominance over you.
Not in the arresting mood?
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the nylon of his coat hiss as he steps closer, while the little rat-faced man reaches into his sleeve. There's a knife in there. Some of the others reach for their belts. Their eyes are light.
Look, coppers. I know you think you're doing your job here, but there are 7 of us and 2 of you.
That's an Easter 50, a Ziemsk-made monstrosity. It'll blow your head clean off. Almighty God, even Dick Mullen only has a 45. The last thing you hear is a little murmur. Not a blast, not an echo. No one screams. It's
警员上身事件频传。
More dead cops. Sad news from the district of Martinez, as the bodies of 2 police officers are found floating in the canal. It is believed the officers were pursuing a murder investigation, but got caught in the dock workers' strike and were gunned down.
好了，所有选项都试过了，然后还有晚上可能再回来看看那个窗户。钢筋铁骨也点了，所以我们可以再出去试试看，把尸体放下来。希望这次的几率有稍微好一点。之前是有非常糟的惩罚的样子，所以现在应该不至于太困难。为什么下雨的声音？哦，真的是下雨。
There he still is.
啊，没有，还是很难的。
With his white eyes, the body below. Ha ha ha.
Shit， 这个难度比敲开窗户还高啊！我应该也没有任何的装备会扣我钢筋铁骨。 所以，哎，这个就只能
There he still is.
硬试了。虽然我不知道尸体放不下来有什么差别，但刚才有特别提到要验尸，所以这应该就是要尸体有放下来之后才能够进行的部分。
There he still is. As you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind. Telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself empty. With your hands at your sides and your eyes squinting, you stand in it. It's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decaying flesh, tattoos, and tendons. This delicate machine, ready for picking. Instinctively, you crack your fingers.
They do after 7 days, yes.
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blotched by lividity. A fading web of tattoos covers his chest and shoulders. The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. The man wore thick polymer socks, probably for padding. A fine array of interlocking plates covers them.
这 plate 为什么会锁甲片？plate 当然是护甲片，就是整个板甲，怎么会是锁甲
？Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you. Out of place somehow. These are clearly not boots. They're armor.
Indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons, not boots.
Oh, the lieutenant uses a memo technique, A6. That's not just any notebook. It's a classic. It's clearly some manner of super armor, or future armor.
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. This is where the make would be. Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. I'm guessing that's vitreous enamel. This is advanced stuff. The locals probably scavenged it. It would be odd if he had more on after 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know.
The sabatons dangle off the man's decaying form. Ageless and synthetic. A small bell. The pry bar in your hand is itching for some action.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy.
Faint, organic line, like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by highly resistant wood. If trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would look like. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more. The whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination. E50, 100, 1000.
Good. Can you read it to me?
X5415 6745 67822.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done. It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too costly. In that time, we've lost 6 men to semi-automatics. For a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,500 rial, unadjusted for rank.
Not too much, yes. It's a sorry situation, I agree. Looks like he worked for a private contractor, like Evrard told us. Wealthy, with state...
The stench fills your nostril.
Stop! He's gonna pull his head...
Brutal!
Even the mongrels can see you're about to pull his head off.
Do it, homo!
Pull his head off. There's no point performing an autopsy.
Indeed. From this angle, it does look like the neck.
What are you trying to achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on to that boot? This is not the enemy. This is the deceased. It does make sense, doesn't it? There's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into the boots. They are fused to his feet now. Why do you think the locals haven't scavenged them yet?
You're sure there's a way to peel them off. But first, the body needs to be down. And second, it would probably be better if the lieutenant wasn't around. The anticipation makes you crack your fingers. Feels nice.
Processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue,
The cadaver slowly twists. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse. This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt.
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. Right now, everything seems to fit their... I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had assumed. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch. Then...
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. The cadaver hangs from an intricate web of blue lines stretches across
a map of the stars.
As if someone left out most of the night sky.
So am I.
He wears a wide leather belt. He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed.
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper.
In case we need it. It contains insight to the victim's person. This was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter to us. Now, if you could find someone to decipher it. Sure. Just don't lose it.
The glossy-eyed corpse looks back. His eyes are milky white and blind to the world. Dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode. The corpse looks right through.
Cop, 又要塞。
The man before you is naked. The lips of the corpse.
Who is he?
内陆帝国。内陆帝国都很强哎。
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants. The lips of the corpse are swollen.
我还跟死人讲话。不知道放下来到底有多难呢？
The man before you is naked. The lips of the
应该不会比钢筋铁骨难吧？钢筋铁骨十几趴已经有点过分了，而且我还点1级了，所以实际上原本更低。
The man before you is naked.
I'm gone into the wild pale yonder in the past. I'm a joke. Look at me. A killer. I must go ahead, Kobo. What do you mean? It's the power of your imagine. Go ahead. Ask me more questions. You fucking love because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them. Do you want more questions? Your lost copper dopo would have been so do I remember?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure wrinkled out of that one, Copper. Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features, if possible.
As you narrow your eyes, this is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use it to see if the corpse has been tampered with. Only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck, just above the noose. The rest of the corpse appears dark green in the cold spring air.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin. We have good, well-pronounced discoloration here.
The monster comes back into focus, an explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins.
So, what do you think? Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in his head. The hypostasis supports a hanging. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first. I do. Most of them are post-mortem. Maybe even all of them.
Stop. He means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal like.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver filling the air and your nostril.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things once.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. His tooth.
Of course. Come back later.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge. I brought Cheng.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material. Climb up there and saw the branch? There has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees. I was really hoping we wouldn't. The Union appeared to be suspect in this.
I would really prefer if there was another way. These people might have an agenda. But what other options?
Someone else? You mean like the police?
What was that about processing then? Weren't they supposed to take care of the boots? Why don't they help?
Someone like a paid garbage man? Or a clean? I know it's hard, but I assure you, the others won't come to help us. When we have a growing...
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head up!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see.
Yeah, now what? They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
让我试试。
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He appears too deep in concentration to even notice what you said.
Hello there.
I'll blow his head off.
Take it!
Yeah, take the shot. Kuno wants some of that shit.
Silence. With his elbow sharp, the lieutenant unzips his jacket and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and
这么麻烦啊
5 tucks.
还有火药纸，我靠！
Securing it in place. That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzle loader, ascetic, frugal, one of the most common firearms in the world. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's Stess position, taking aim. The corner of his eye twitches. His finger is on the trigger.
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of...
God damn it.
A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The fellow Stess was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all, he cannot trust his eyesight.
这样子，这个射击角度真的不会误及其他人吗？后面有公寓。
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not fucking handicapped, is he? Kuno's sorry too.
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at...
No, we are lucky as it is. With any more mistakes could put us in an unfortunate position with the locals. Remain collegial, officer. It was an honest mistake. I have to say, it's beginning to...
You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot.
It's bad as it is. Us shooting fight. Go ahead. I'm not...
This is the sorriest pair of pigs.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banana boyka! Take it and shoot his...
The cold piece of bakelite and gut. You've held this, a P9 Armistice, before. At some point, it probably used to be your choice of firearm. It still feels...
The fuck are you waiting for?
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand with your feet planted firmly in the ground.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Your field of view, the slow movement of the...
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty? Do it! Set me free!
Don't.
Do it! Put it right here, Mulgo! Right here!
You hear an explosion within the weapon in your hand. The branches of the pine tree behind the girl shake ever so lightly. A clue.
靠腰有对屁孩开枪的选项啊！不行啊，这一段错过太可惜了。有一点想要达成对屁孩开枪的条件呢。需要从容自若，从容自若，有加这个吗？至少是没有扣啊。那主要设这个连接点的检定是手眼协调。
The man before you is naked, but for a pair of...
I'm gone. In the pub. There is... Go ahead, Kobo. Do I...
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure? What do you mean? It's the pub. Him. Go ahead. Because you're a copperoony. Look at all of them coming right up, copper. Fuck no. You're no rune. No, that's right. Because you love did me in, brother Copo. Sure, Loba. Looking at my face. Motionless. Looking into my eyes. Standing. I'm all you have. Come back later, Copo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my...
As you narrow it, this is a trick. Only the lower extremities.
I see.
The monster.
So, what do you think? Agreed. Especially on the neck. Everything here seems to corroborate that
the pool of blood and
the victim appears to have contained...
The fuck he's saying?
Talking about shit.
Maybe. I agree.
His personality is
totally dead.
Totally dead.
That sounds about right, yes. I do.
Stop. He means you fucked him up good.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver.
Of course. Come back.
好了，决定要放他下来的时候，就要开始做抉择了。那一系列的抉择没有办法跳过，做一个比较大的手动存档。那也只能先玩到这里了。其实这款游戏剧情推进需要的时间比我想象中的要久得多。那当然，通常我是不太愿意遇到支线的时候去把它跳过，然后只去找主线职业。所以看每一个对话，其实也需要不少的时间。整款游戏这个配音量真的是夸张多欸，我觉得它游戏里面可能角色是有限的啦，所以比起一个硕大范围的 RPG， 那种到处冒险的 RPG， 只替主要人物配音可能是差不多的量，但是它这个配音是真的花了很多功夫。光是这个配音就可以给他很高的评分。那但是我们这个极乐迪斯可只能够先玩3集，后面的话 我不知道他玩到底要多久，因为之前前面评估的时候，有人说这款游戏10几个小时其实就可以玩的差不多，但我现在看起来应该是不太可能。一般情况下，你对话都好好看的话，应该时间是非常不够。它每一条支线每一个对话都非常多的东西。当然了，你已经是破过重玩都不需要看的话，你知道跟他讲话会有什么结果，就不用这么久。但第一次玩肯定是不可能。那极乐迪斯可第3集我也只能先玩到这边了，感谢各位的收看，我们下次再见了，拜拜。